So, yeah, I need to number these now. Was told this is number 12? That's a glitch for you. First glitch. I had this unnerving experience when I was about 17 during a family vacation. We rented a house in a small coastal town, just a couple hundred meters from the beach. One afternoon, as I was walking back from a local store, I saw my mom sitting on the house's porch. We exchanged a few words. She asked me about the store, and I told her I bought a loaf of bread and some milk. It was not until I reached the kitchen and saw my mom cooking dinner there that the whole situation hit me like a brick wall. I ran back to the porch, but of course, no one was there now. Next glitch. I was pulling an all-nighter for a major exam that would take place the next morning. I could remember things so clearly because that day had been my birthday. My roommates made sure to make a big fuss about it before I shut myself off to focus on my study materials. After studying nonstop, I glanced at my desk clock. It showed 5:30 a.m. I was exhausted, barely able to focus my eyes on the text. Deciding to take a power nap seemed like the best option. As soon as I closed my eyes, I instantly woke up, feeling a lot fresher. I figured I definitely had slept for a few hours at least. But to my utter confusion, the clock still read 5:30 a.m. I shook the analog clock in disbelief, but it wasn't broken. My exam was in a few hours, and I had somehow gained a surreal time where my rest did not infringe upon the relentless march of time. Next glitch. I was in 6th grade when this weird incident happened. It was during physical education, and our class was outside on the gym field. I remember I was in the middle of the kickball field, waiting to kick the ball when I noticed a soccer ball rolling towards me. I tried to kick the soccer ball away, only to feel this shock and to see the ball keep rolling as if it passed right through me. When I look back at my classmates, they all had these astonished expressions on their faces, murmuring something about the ball going straight through me. I dismissed it as a quirky visual illusion or a trick of perspective, but part of me wonders what exactly happened. Next glitch. I had just finished my overnight shift at the hospital and was heading home. I was driving along an empty country road as the sun was just beginning to rise, and I could see a cyclist far ahead on the crest of a hill. Just at the moment when I was about to pass by the cyclist, the shadowy figure in bright yellow simply vanished. Startled, I slowed down, thinking maybe the cyclist had fallen, but there was no one and nothing around. The road stretched out empty and undisturbed before me. It was really uncanny, and that figure on the bike is a visual I'll never forget. Next glitch. This one happened last year when I was visiting my sister in her new downtown apartment. It was on the 7th floor of this complex, and you needed a key to get in. The elevator was pingy and old school with grating iron gates, but it worked just fine. Now, on the day in question, I was coming back after jogging. I took the elevator, reached the 7th floor, and walked to her apartment, which was second from the end in a long hallway. I unlocked the apartment, went in, tossed my shoes off, went to the fridge for a cold drink. Then I noticed that my sister's apartment wasn't my sister's apartment anymore. There were old photos on the wall of people I didn't recognize, and the cold drink I got from the fridge was an old brand that I think they stopped making years back. I spent a good 10 minutes in this stranger's house before going out and double-checking everything. Yep, I was on the 7th floor, and this was her apartment. I went back inside, and everything was back to normal. Next glitch. A few weeks later, I was at the city library one afternoon idling through the aisles. I usually gravitate towards the history section, so I pick some book on medieval Europe, sit on a random couch, and start flipping through it. As I flipped, I suddenly realized the words weren't in English anymore. They were in some other language, looked like Latin. I brushed it off as a printing error or something, and started flipping backwards. And after a few pages, the words were English again. That was strange enough. But then, As I flipped forwards again, every page was English. No Latin text where I'd seen it before. Regardless, I tried another random page, and voila, it was Latin again. I left the book unattended for a minute or two and came back to it. There was only English again. Next glitch. A snowy morning some time ago, I decided to walk down to my favorite donut place. On the way, I saw a tortoise creeping about. Now, mind you, it was the dead of winter, and there's no way a tortoise should be out in the open, also especially not in a city. I was more than a little surprised. I moved to give it some space and walked cautiously around it. Halfway to the donut shop, I learned that the place was closed that day, so I turned back. When I got to the spot where the tortoise was, it was gone. Not a trace of it anywhere. The snow was untouched, as if it had never even been there. Next glitch. This was when I had a portable CD player. I was listening to an album which I'd heard numerous times, but on this occasion the third song suddenly turned into one I had never heard before. It wasn't just different, it was completely unfamiliar, an entirely different genre altogether. I paused it, rewound, played again, and again this unfamiliar song played. This continued for several playthroughs. After about 10 replays, the original third song came back, much to my relief, but unable to explain why. Next glitch. I was driving down a familiar road late at night. Just like any ordinary night, I saw the same houses and shops passing by. But then, out of nowhere, I noticed something strange. The houses started repeating, like a loop in a video game. I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. I kept driving, hoping it would go away, but it didn't. The same houses kept repeating over and over again, each one exactly the same as the last. Eventually, the road changed, and I was back to normal. Next glitch. While waiting for my train, I watched as a man dropped his briefcase on the platform. A few seconds later, I saw a second version of the man emerge from the train, bend down, and pick up the fallen briefcase. I rubbed my eyes, thinking I was seeing double. But when I looked again, there was only one man standing there. It was as if the second version had never existed. I glanced around, but nobody else seemed to have noticed. Next glitch. My family has lived in the same house for over 20 years. It's a 2-story home with a set of wooden stairs leading to the second floor. I've taken those stairs pretty much every day of my life. You'd think I could climb them blindfolded, but something happened a few weeks ago. I was walking up to my room 12 steps like always, but when I took what should have been my last step, instead of landing up on the floor, I was only midway up the staircase, right around the 6th step. My brain short-circuited a little. Picture this. 1 second you're about to reach the top, and the next, you're at the midpoint. It was not as though I misplaced a step, or wasn't paying attention. It was within a blink. It felt like reality had stuttered and I had skipped a beat. Next glitch. I was always an early bird. Early to rise, early to exercise, early to work, and it had been this way for decades. One day, I headed out for my habitual early morning run, entering the park right at the stroke of dawn. The park was beautiful at this time of the day, bathed in the soft glow of sunrise. As I arrived, I noted the park was uncharacteristically deserted. Usually I'd see people already setting up for the day's activities or some like-minded individuals jogging around. As I ran along the park's curving road, something caught my attention. I saw my own figure running in front of me. It wore the exact same clothing and followed my same running gait. I stopped short, staring in disbelief as my figure just kept going, seemingly oblivious to my presence. I chased after it, but it gradually faded away, only leaving the pathway bathed in the glow of the rising sun. I've been back to the park every morning since, and though I've never seen myself running ahead again, I remain unable to shake off that indelibly strange encounter which seemed to occur outside the boundaries of reality. That last one was well written, wasn't it? Thanks for listening, by the way. And if you're still here, why not hit that subscribe button